that we get you some help. Please avoid blaming, arguing, reproaching, and expect that the person's going to basically try to deny it, distort it, avoid it, rationalise it, all the sort of defence mechanisms that come into play. There's a very good book written by a guy called Eric Byrne, called The Games Alcoholics Play. And it highlights the scripts, in a sense, the conversational, the communication scripts that people get into when they are in a substance abuse situation. It changes our perspectives. Very much a bit like, our perspective changes when we're depressed, but this is particularly insidious. One of the other things I think that can help, and in the last episode I talked about models of addiction, and although I'm not a fan of the disease model, although I reframe disease in my work with substance abuse disorders and addictions as a dis-ease, in other words, it's not like a medical illness, but rather an underlying, inner conflict around, quite often, a trauma or a psychological wound. We talk about the narcissistic wound in that case, and the layers that are built up around that to try and function and live with this distress. Okay, but however, having said that, AA has a program for family and friends of someone with a problem called Al-Anon. So that may be also very, very useful. There is a non-disease model program which is called the Smart Recovery process, which is basically it originates from rational emotive behaviour therapy and the work of Albert Ellis, and it's a very, very, very good program. It's not spiritually based in that sense. For some people, the whole idea of surrendering to God and all that, it just doesn't sit well. Smart doesn't have that. So, if you've got any queries, please, Google it, Smart Recovery, and there's some really, really powerful resources on there that can help support you through. But again, I would do that in conjunction to seeing a professional. Now, the other issue is that it's often useful as a person living with someone who has a substance abuse disorder to actually seek professional help, not about the person using, but about yourself. There are reasons often why we are in a relationship with someone who is struggling with abuse, substance abuse or addiction, and we need to get a clear understanding about what's happening for us in terms of our beliefs, our attitudes, and our relationship to self, and to be able to work through the stress and distress, and how to keep ourselves safe. So I think that's a really, really, really important step to take, because ultimately there is only so much that you can do for your family member or friend who's got a substance abuse disorder or an addiction. Ultimately, they need to take ownership for themselves. Part of it is that you also need to be clear about when you need to, put yourself in as a priority and focus on reducing the potential harm within the relationship to yourself. And that's a really important aspect. All right, so I just thought I'd start there. I'll probably continue with this theme in the next podcast as well, because there are some things that I want to talk about that expand this into, some ideas about why we possibly are vulnerable to this. And I think that we need to really examine the root causes of the problems. And part of that is in the models of addictions, but also part of it is just how we're set up, how our culture is set up. A lot of people talk to me about using alcohol as a way of relaxing. Well, in very small doses, that's true. You get a bit of a serotonin lift, but afterwards you're just going to be anxious. Right? It doesn't work well, medium to long term. Short term maybe, but even then it doesn't work very well. All right, everybody. Here we are on that Mother's Day. And again, all my best wishes to all the mums out there. Missing mine, but, I'm still fortunate to have my mother-in-law. And all our young family members who are now mums stepping up. So, we're going to celebrate a little bit later on and get together, and we're fortunate in that because some people aren't. So for me, today is definitely about gratitude towards mums and all the things that they've done for us and will do for us. So until next time, this is me signing off.
Thank you for listening to Inspire Change with Gunter. Gunter Swoboda does individual and group coaching for men looking to grow. For more information on this and the global Making Good Men Great movement, check out goodmengreat.com to get into contact. If you have a topic for the show or would like to be a guest on the air, please email producers at miranda@noirtainment.com. That's Miranda, Miranda, at Noirtainment, NOIRTAINMENT.com. Thank you, and always keep inspiring change.